Joe Biden was being interviewed by Axios and he was asked about his position on Medicare for all. And he's gonna answer, that's important, but also look at who he throws under the bus while doing so.
Medicare for all. Do you think that's political
The party's
suicide?
not there. The party's not there at all.
So some of your opponents are.
Yeah, but the party's not there. You know the numbers.
What do you think?
You guys got it all wrong about what happened, and what
you sound like Trump.
Yeah,
Fake
I
news?
do. No, look, it's not fake. It's just bad judgment. You all thought that what happened was the party moved extremely to the left after Hillary. AOC was the new party. She's a bright, wonderful person. But where's the party? Come on, man.
So there, look, he says the party's not there. People don't like Medicare for all. Obviously, we've got the actual numbers on that. But I think more importantly, he was not asked about AOC. Nothing about AOC, the squad, anything like that. Nothing about the future of the Democratic Party. But in answering a question about Medicare for all, he, of his own volition, came up with AOC's name and decided to try to assert that he, not she, represents the future path for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I actually want to get to the numbers right away.
Sure, okay.
Because I want, but as you do, John, I want the audience to understand that Biden's not necessarily talking about the voters. There's a difference between Democratic Party voters and the Democratic Party. So after you hear the numbers, then let's talk about that.
Exactly, and remember, he said the party's not there. He said, come on, you look at the numbers. 70% said that they supported providing Medicare for all, also known as single-payer health care for Americans. 42% of respondents said they strongly supported the proposal, while 28% said that they somewhat supported it. Now, obviously, 70% in a poll is high, but I want you to bear in mind, I did not just give you the results for the Democrats there. That's the overall number. That includes Republicans too, 70%, with 42% strongly supporting the proposal. What else in American politics do 42% of voters strongly support? And Joe Biden wants you to forget about all that. Now, those results mirrored a Reuters poll released in August, which found again 70% supported Medicare for all. And just so that you understand that this AOC comment, it wasn't a one-up. Biden has questioned Ocasio-Cortez's broader influence in the past, saying over the summer that while she is a brilliant, bright woman, she has only won a primary, asserting that it was so easy to win in her general election, then it doesn't really count for anything. I mean, how influential could she possibly be?
I mean, I'm partially fascinated by Biden wearing like a sweater under a suit jacket, but moving on from that, I think Cenk makes the absolute right point. There's a difference between the voters and the party. When he's saying the party is not there, he's talking about the blob of consultants and whatnot that are around the Democrats and also the Democrats in Congress who are having trouble passing a healthcare bill or a drug pricing bill that's worth a darn. So, there's this victory lap being taken right now because Kamala Harris left the race, because Warren has had trouble, and they've pinpointed Medicare for all. See, Medicare for all, it's like you fly too close to it, you get burned. There's a concerted effort to blame Medicare for all for the troubles of those campaigns.
Yeah.
And so when you say the party's not there, that's coming from the party. That's who's trying to do that.
Yeah, so what I want to do is look up the most recent poll for you guys, and I just did. So I had it in my memory, but I wanted to confirm. So John gave you a poll that is a very fair representation of where Medicare for all has stood throughout all these different times. And so they've tried to attack Medicare for all in the beginning, in the middle, but now at this point they're voraciously attacking it. A Republican group is spending $6 million against it, and hence in favor of Biden and Buttigieg in the primary states. Insurance and Hospital Coalition is spending $1 million in Iowa and New Hampshire.
By the way, that's the Partnership for America's Healthcare Future. Half of all political spending in Iowa in a certain period of time, I believe a week or 2 weeks, was by that group. And this is during the primary, right? This is during when all the campaigns have their ads out. Half of all political spending came from just that group pushing an anti-health reform. Forget Medicare for all. They're against the public option. They're against Biden's idea too.
Yes, but certainly those ads hurt Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren the most because they're for Medicare for all. But now let's get to the main issue of, well, how's it polling? Well, the latest New York Times YouGov poll had it at a lower number after all of these attacks. And by the way, remember, it's not just those ads, it's every Republican against it and almost the entire Democratic Party against it except for Warren and Sanders. So after that three-way attack on Medicare for All, they finally brought it down to 55% in one poll, okay, in that poll that we're talking about. So that is for the whole country. The fact that it withstood a barrage of millions of dollars of propaganda and still stands at 55% is amazing. But wait, it gets better. Independents back it at a clip of 64%. So, yes, still to this day, okay? And the only reason why it's at 55% because it's lost all Republican support because all of the corporate Republicans, Democrats, et cetera, are saying, no, hey, Bernie and AOC like that. So you don't want healthcare. They're like, oh, you're right, I don't want healthcare. Okay, so then how about Democratic Party voters? Because in this case, when in regards to Biden, that's the most important one. 81%. So when Joe
Party's
Biden,
not there?
Yeah, when Joe Biden says the party's not there, he doesn't mean the voters are completely there, 81% there. No, he's talking about, all of us corrupt corporate Democrats, we're not there because we take money from the insurance companies, the hospitals, the drug companies. So the Democratic Party is betraying its voters, yes, but the party apparatchiks, the operators, the corrupt people who run the party, we're not there. So voters, we're not gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
Well, there's one set of folks that are still gonna weigh in on that. They're the voters. So you got a primary coming up, Joe. You keep going in that direction. Let's see how it turns out for you.
Yeah, and I don't know if Biden doesn't get what the criteria should be for establishing who either should be or will be the future of the party. But what you've pointed out, that dichotomy between deciding on policy based on where the biggest donors or the supportive industries are coming from, or the leadership of the DNC or whatever, versus actually following the will of the voters. That is just another way that AOC is clearly the future of the Democratic Party. I would defy you to come up with an area where Joe Biden better represents where the party will be in 5, 10, or 50 years than AOC does. And I would just say this, I understand there's still a lot of factions in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party could not be luckier than to have AOC represent where the party is going. If they had a handful of AOCs, 50 AOCs, 300 AOCs, they could not be better positioned to win elections across the country over the next few decades.
And it's telling that her name popped out like immediately.
He couldn't help but think of her.
Right? I mean, the brand of AOC is extremely strong, such that she's in the heads of all these corporate Democrats, including Biden.
Exactly.
I'm going to read you the last line from the New York Times article. And by the way, the New York Times article kind of buried the lead on their own poll. They mainly talked about the wealth tax. They didn't even have Medicare for All in the title. They mentioned it later on in the article. Oh, by the way, the Medicare for All is intensely popular. So, in fact, it was more popular than the wealth tax, which is astoundingly popular. So in the last section, they say, and Medicare for All doesn't divide Democrats the way that the wealth tax does. Democrats of all ages, races, and education and levels support the policy by similar margins. So all of the Democratic voters are united in favor of Medicare for All, but the party says, we don't give a damn about you. We're not gonna give you that. We're gonna give whatever the donors want. So be super clear about what Biden and Buttigieg are saying.
And it's amazing that when you have a poll like that shows that virtually everyone who could possibly take part in this primary supports Medicare for All, except the vast majority of the candidates on the stage.
Yeah, and think about that. Think about in what rational democracy would, I mean, at its height, we had, I think, overall in the different times, 27 candidates. And now, look, some of them are for Medicare for All that are not just Warren and Sanders. Actually, Andrew Yang's in favor of it, and there were some others, right? But at least 20 were opposed to Medicare for All, even though 81% of the voters in their primaries wanted. And think about how extraordinary that is, because their whole career rides on it. They could be president of the United States and they still go, no, I'd rather screw over the voters and take my chances in losing than actually support something that my donors don't support.
What's kind of amazing to me on it is that you had Bernie go out and announce the Medicare for All Act, and every senator that was thinking of running for president runs behind him in that press conference, right? Gillibrand, Booker, Harris, Warren, all of them, right? And that was before they had to face donors and try to figure out how they were going to get money without doing a grassroots campaign. And everyone who had to face donors then, who was in that picture, which you could call up, ran in the other direction. Yeah. It's really quite telling.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.